It was a busy Thursday morning in the downtown financial district. Skyscrapers reflecting the bright sunlight off their glass facades, the streets crowded with professionals hurrying to their offices and cafes, buzzing with commuters. Darius Bennett, a black businessman in his early 40s, walked calmly through the bustling lobby of a large office building, carrying a sleek briefcase and a folder of documents. Darius was impeccably dressed in a tailored suit, his demeanor composed and confident, exuding quiet authority that came from years of experience, leadership, and success in his field. Though his achievements were extensive, Darius preferred to remain understated, letting his work and professionalism speak for themselves rather than seeking attention or recognition. As Darius stepped off the elevator, he was approached by a white man, mid-40s, clearly agitated and impatient. "Hey, you!" the man barked. "I don't know what you think you're doing, but this isn't your place. You don't belong here." The man's tone was sharp, condescending, and filled with assumptions, as if judging Darius solely by appearance. Darius stopped, raised a calm eyebrow, and replied evenly, "I assure you, I am exactly where I need to be. Perhaps we can discuss this calmly." The man scoffed, ignoring Darius's professional composure, and began mocking him in front of nearby employees and visitors, attempting to belittle and humiliate him. Despite the public humiliation, Darius remained composed, his voice steady, his posture unshaken, and his movements deliberate. He continued walking, letting the man's words hang in the air, demonstrating that his calm authority and professional demeanor were not dependent on the approval or recognition of others. Bystanders paused, some watching with discomfort, others exchanging glances at the audacity of the man, confronting someone so calmly composed and obviously confident. Darius's restraint highlighted a stark contrast between impulsive arrogance and quiet, earned authority, revealing the power of composure and dignity in situations of confrontation. As the man continued to rant, employees nearby began to notice Darius's calm and professional presence, his confident composure and understated authority, making the aggressor's behavior appear petty and misplaced. Darius finally turned to him, voice polite but firm. "Perhaps we should verify facts before making assumptions." At that moment, the man paused, confusion flickering across his face. Unknown to him, Darius Bennett was not merely a businessman occupying an office. He was the owner of the entire building, including the very office the man had presumed authority over. The realization struck the man almost immediately, his expression shifting from arrogance to pale shock. The crowd of bystanders who had been quietly observing now sensed the dramatic reversal of perception and authority. Darius, still composed, watched as the man's confidence crumbled, the sudden awareness of his mistake leaving him speechless. The lesson in humility, respect, and the sudden shift in power dynamics was unmistakable, and the onlookers witnessed firsthand the stark contrast between assumptions and reality, arrogance and earned authority. By the time Darius continued toward his office, the man remained frozen, pale, and stunned, unable to process the rapid reversal of roles. Employees who had observed the scene whispered among themselves, absorbing the dramatic lesson. Respect is earned through competence, composure, and professional authority, and assumptions based on appearances or superficial impressions can be shattered in an instant. Darius, calm and collected, adjusted his briefcase and walked confidently down the corridor, fully aware that his quiet professionalism and earned authority had not only corrected a public insult, but also left an indelible impression on everyone who had witnessed the moment. The morning after the confrontation in the lobby, Darius Bennett arrived at his office building with the same composed confidence that had characterized his career. The previous day's incident with the arrogant man lingered subtly in his mind, not as a source of anger, but as a vivid reminder of how quickly assumptions and prejudice can cloud judgment, and how calm, measured authority can instantly correct misperceptions. As he walked through the lobby, employees greeted him politely, their nods and smiles reflecting both respect and acknowledgement of the quiet authority he carried, not only as a businessman, but as the owner of the building itself. Darius moved with deliberate, steady steps, his presence commanding attention, without the need for assertion or confrontation, reinforcing the lesson that professionalism, composure, and competence naturally inspire recognition and respect. Throughout the morning, Darius attended meetings with staff and colleagues, reviewing reports, approving budgets, and discussing upcoming projects with measured authority. His tone was calm, precise, and deliberate, his instructions clear and thoughtfully conveyed. Employees responded immediately to his guidance, their attentiveness reflecting the subtle power of his leadership and the respect he had earned over years of consistent professionalism and competence. The incident in the lobby had already become a quiet but vivid example to staff. Assumptions based on appearances could be instantly corrected by composure and proven authority. Darius remained composed, allowing his skill, insight, and quiet confidence to speak for him, rather than dwelling on the past confrontation. Later in the afternoon, Darius made rounds through the building, checking on operations, speaking with tenants, and addressing minor concerns with calm authority. His interactions were respectful, yet undeniably commanding, conveying leadership without arrogance. Employees and tenants alike observed how effortlessly he maintained control, guiding operations efficiently and setting a standard for professionalism that extended beyond his formal role. The contrast between the man who had attempted to humiliate him in the lobby and the composed authority Darius now demonstrated was stark, reinforcing the lesson that earned respect is rooted in consistent competence, composure, and skillful action. By evening, as the sun cast warm light across the building's glass facade, Darius paused briefly in the lobby to review the day's events and reflect on the subtle lessons of the confrontation. The arrogant man's behavior had been corrected instantly, and the surrounding witnesses had absorbed the dramatic reversal of power and authority. Darius understood that true influence and respect are cultivated over time through consistent professionalism, calm composure, and decisive action, and that even a brief encounter of disrespect could be transformed into a lasting demonstration of earned authority. Walking toward his office, briefcase in hand, Darius carried the quiet satisfaction of knowing that his calm presence, skill, and professionalism had left a lasting impression on both the man who had attempted to humiliate him and the onlookers who had witnessed the moment. By midweek, Darius Bennett had fully settled into the rhythm of his workday, moving through his office building with the same composed authority and quiet confidence that had earned him respect for years. The incident in the lobby remained a vivid reminder of how quickly assumptions and prejudice can influence behavior, and how calm, measured authority can immediately reverse perceptions. Darius walked with deliberate steps, his tailored suit perfectly pressed, briefcase in hand, greeting employees and colleagues with a polite nod and a composed smile. His presence alone set the tone for the day, subtly reinforcing the idea that respect is earned through competence, professionalism, and consistent behavior rather than assumed or demanded. Throughout the morning, Darius held meetings with staff, reviewing project updates, discussing strategic decisions, and providing guidance on complex matters. His voice was calm and deliberate, his instructions precise, and every gesture communicated authority and competence. Staff responded attentively, fully aware that his calm composure and expertise commanded recognition without the need for overt assertion. The lesson from the lobby incident lingered in the background. Assumptions based on superficial impressions can be shattered instantly when confronted with undeniable skill, composure, and earned authority. Darius allowed his consistent professionalism to guide the environment, showing that leadership is conveyed through action, knowledge, and calm confidence. Later in the afternoon, Darius visited various departments within his building, checking on operations, interacting with employees, and resolving minor issues efficiently. His composed demeanor inspired confidence, subtly reminding everyone present that his authority was rooted not in appearance or assertion, but in experience, skill, and professionalism. Employees who had been present during the lobby incident reflected quietly on the dramatic reversal, recognizing how Darius's calm authority contrasted with the arrogance and assumptions of the man who had tried to humiliate him. The environment of the building was shaped by his composed presence, reinforcing the lesson that respect is cultivated over time through consistent action and competence. By evening, as Darius prepared to leave for the day, he paused in the lobby and observed the building around him, the polished floors, the bustling staff, and the quiet acknowledgement of his authority reflected in subtle nods and attentive interactions. The earlier confrontation had become more than a personal experience. It had evolved into a clear demonstration of humility, awareness, and the immediate impact of professional composure. Darius understood that his calm confidence, skill, and consistent professionalism had not only corrected a moment of public disrespect, but had left a lasting impression on everyone who witnessed it. As he stepped into the elevator, briefcase in hand, he carried the satisfaction of knowing that true authority and respect are earned through competence, composure, and measured action, leaving an enduring influence on both staff and observers alike. By the following morning, Darius Bennett moved through his office building with the same calm authority and composed presence that had become his trademark. The memory of the previous week's confrontation in the lobby lingered, not as a source of frustration, but as a vivid lesson in how quickly assumptions and bias can shape behavior, and how professionalism and quiet authority can instantly correct misjudgments. Darius walked with measured steps, briefcase in hand, greeting employees with polite nods and composed smiles, his presence alone reinforcing the subtle hierarchy of earned respect. The lobby, once a scene of public humiliation, now felt like a stage where authority, professionalism, and composure had asserted themselves effortlessly. Throughout the morning, Darius conducted meetings with department heads, reviewing reports, discussing strategic initiatives, and providing guidance with clear, calm authority. His tone was measured and deliberate, his instructions precise, and every movement projected competence and confidence. Employees responded attentively, fully aware of the quiet power Darius wielded through skill, composure, and consistency. The contrast between his calm authority and the arrogance of the man who had attempted to humiliate him was striking, highlighting the lesson that respect is earned through action and professionalism, rather than assumed based on appearance. Darius allowed his actions to set the tone for the building, creating an environment of focus, efficiency, and subtle reverence for competence. Later in the afternoon, Darius walked through various office floors, checking operations, assisting staff with questions, and resolving minor issues with careful efficiency. His calm presence influenced everyone around him, reminding staff that authority is most effective when coupled with professionalism, composure, and clear competence. Employees who had witnessed the lobby confrontation reflected on the dramatic reversal of perception, recognizing the power of consistent, calm authority over impulsive judgment and arrogance. Even those who had initially doubted him now observed his actions with quiet admiration, internalizing the lesson that professionalism and composure command recognition in ways casual assumptions never can. By evening, as the building emptied and sunlight reflected off the polished floors of the lobby, Darius paused to take stock of the day. The earlier confrontation had evolved into a powerful demonstration of humility, awareness, and the immediate impact of calm, competent authority. His quiet confidence and professionalism had not only corrected a moment of public disrespect, but had created a lasting impression on staff, colleagues, and any observers present. Darius understood that true influence and respect are cultivated through consistent behavior, expertise, and measured action, leaving a legacy of authority that was both respected and enduring. With a final nod to the staff as he exited the building, he carried the satisfaction of knowing that composure and skill had transformed perception, ensuring that respect had been both earned and firmly established. By midweek, Darius Bennett had fully reasserted his calm authority throughout his office building, moving through corridors and meeting rooms with measured confidence that naturally commanded respect. The memory of the lobby confrontation lingered subtly, serving as a constant reminder of how quickly assumptions and bias can influence behavior, and how composed, professional authority can immediately correct misjudgments. Darius walked deliberately, briefcase in hand, greeting employees and colleagues with polite nods, his posture and demeanor projecting quiet assurance. His presence alone shaped the environment, signaling responsibility, competence, and earned respect without any need for confrontation or self-promotion. Throughout the morning, Darius held meetings with department heads, reviewing progress reports, discussing financial strategies, and guiding projects with clarity and precision. His voice was calm, yet authoritative, every instruction delivered with careful deliberation. Employees responded promptly, their attention reflecting recognition of his expertise and consistent professionalism. The stark contrast between the arrogance of the man who had attempted to humiliate him and the calm, commanding presence Darius now displayed reinforced the lesson that respect is earned through competence, composure, and consistent action, not assumed or demanded. Observers absorbed the dynamic, learning a subtle but powerful lesson in humility and authority. Later in the afternoon, Darius checked in on operations across multiple floors, assisting staff with questions, mediating minor conflicts, and ensuring everything functioned smoothly. His presence instilled confidence, guiding employees to perform effectively, while reinforcing the idea that leadership is demonstrated through calm, measured action rather than superficial displays of power. Staff who had been present during the lobby incident quietly reflected on the dramatic reversal of perception, realizing that Darius's composed professionalism had turned a moment of public humiliation into a powerful lesson in authority, respect, and the consequences of assumptions. By evening, as Darius concluded his day and walked toward the building's lobby, he paused to observe the activity around him. Employees moving efficiently, offices running smoothly, and the subtle acknowledgement of his presence in attentive glances and respectful nods. The previous confrontation had become more than an isolated incident. It had evolved into a demonstration of earned authority and composure that left a lasting impression. Darius carried the satisfaction of knowing that his calm demeanor, professionalism, and decisive competence had corrected misperceptions, reinforced respect, and established his quiet, yet undeniable influence throughout the building. Every action he had taken that day had subtly reminded observers that true authority is cultivated through skill, composure, and consistent excellence, leaving an indelible mark on all who witnessed it. By the following week, Darius Bennett moved through his office building with the same calm confidence and measured authority that had earned him enduring respect. The memory of the lobby confrontation lingered, not as a source of frustration, but as a vivid reminder of how assumptions and superficial judgments can distort perception, and how calm, professional composure can immediately reverse such misjudgments. Darius walked with deliberate steps, briefcase in hand, greeting employees and colleagues with a composed smile, his presence alone communicating responsibility, competence, and subtle authority. The building, once a stage for an attempted public humiliation, now reflected the quiet command of a leader whose influence extended through professionalism, skill, and earned respect. Throughout the morning, Darius conducted meetings with department heads, reviewed reports, and guided teams on key projects, his voice steady and precise, his instructions clear and deliberate. Staff responded promptly, recognizing his expertise and the calm authority he projected. Observers, including employees who had witnessed the confrontation in the lobby, noted the stark contrast between the earlier assumptions and Darius's composed, professional demeanor. Each interaction reinforced the lesson that respect and authority are earned through consistent competence, measured action, and composure, rather than superficial appearances or casual arrogance. Later in the afternoon, a minor emergency arose when a malfunction in one of the office systems caused a temporary disruption. Darius took charge calmly, issuing clear instructions, coordinating staff, and resolving the issue efficiently. The contrast between the arrogance of the man who had tried to humiliate him and Darius's calm, decisive handling of the situation reinforced the lesson in authority and professionalism. Employees observed the scene with quiet acknowledgement, recognizing that true influence is demonstrated through calm competence, problem-solving, and composure under pressure, rather than through aggressive posturing or assumptions. By evening, as the building emptied and the polished lobby reflected the fading sunlight, Darius paused briefly to reflect on the events of the week. The confrontation had become more than a personal incident. It had transformed into a demonstration of humility, awareness, and the subtle but undeniable power of calm authority. His composure, professionalism, and measured action had corrected misperceptions, reinforced respect, and left a lasting impression on everyone who had witnessed it. Darius stepped into the elevator, briefcase in hand, carrying the quiet satisfaction of knowing that true authority and respect are earned through consistent competence, calm demeanor, and thoughtful leadership, leaving a profound and enduring impact on all around him. By the end of the week, Darius Bennett had fully reinforced his presence as a calm, authoritative figure within his office building, leaving a lasting impression on employees, colleagues, and anyone who had witnessed the dramatic lobby confrontation. The memory of the man's arrogant attempt to humiliate him lingered, not as a source of anger, but as a vivid illustration of how quickly assumptions and bias can cloud judgment, and how calm, measured authority and competence can instantly reverse perceptions. Darius moved through the building with composed confidence, briefcase in hand, greeting employees with polite nods, his posture and demeanor signaling responsibility, professionalism, and the quiet authority earned through years of dedication and experience. Throughout the day, Darius conducted meetings, guided staff, and oversaw operations with calm precision. His voice remained steady, instructions clear, and movements deliberate, reinforcing his authority without need for confrontation or self-assertion. Employees responded promptly and attentively, their recognition of his expertise and composure creating an environment of efficiency, respect, and professionalism. The contrast between the man who had attempted to belittle him and Darius's calm command was evident to all observers, demonstrating that authority and respect are cultivated through consistent competence, composure, and action, rather than assumed or superficially displayed. Later in the afternoon, Darius navigated through operational floors, resolving minor issues, advising staff, and maintaining a presence that inspired confidence and focus. Employees reflected on the earlier incident, recognizing how quickly assumptions could be shattered when confronted with professionalism and skill. Darius's calm authority transformed what could have been a moment of embarrassment into a lasting lesson in humility, awareness, and the transformative power of composure. By evening, as he concluded his workday and walked through the empty lobby, Darius paused to observe the building around him, the smooth floors, the attentive staff, and the subtle acknowledgement of his presence in every interaction. The confrontation had evolved into more than a single incident. It had become a demonstration of earned authority, calm professionalism, and the lasting impact of composure and competence. Darius left the building with quiet satisfaction, fully aware that his calm demeanor, skill, and consistent professionalism had corrected assumptions, reinforced respect, and created an enduring impression on everyone who witnessed it. The lesson was clear. True authority is earned, demonstrated through measured action and expertise, and recognized instantly by those who observe it, leaving a legacy that extends far beyond a single encounter.